Hello, my name is June Charles, and I'm a student at Grand Canyon University reading for a master's degree in early childhood education. Today, I'm here to talk about my professional disposition, and to do so, I will be answering 4 questions. The questions are as follows: 1. What dispositions do you possess that you think will make you a successful teacher? 2. What dispositions do you need to work on before you enter the classroom as a first year teacher? Provide an example of how you plan to uphold these dispositions in the classroom. 3. How do the dispositions demonstrate your ability to understand other cultures, genders, and learning differences to build stronger relationships with students and families? How do potential bias affect teaching? 4. How do you anticipate using feedback from your annual performance evaluations, observations, and data on student performance to adjust your dispositions and teaching practices to benefit learning? Firstly, I believe that I possess the disposition that all students are capable of learning. We know that students do not learn at the same rate, but with different methods and strategies, and therefore should not be thought of as empty vessels or census characters just waiting to be filled with knowledge by teachers. As an educator, I have never really blamed my students nor their circumstances for the educational setback inside the classroom, because the onus is on me to always create conditions that are necessary to foster learning that is specific to their individual needs. Also, I feel I possess the ability to spark curiosity among students. Having students with a resilient aspiration to discern or understand something is what I live for in this profession. I love it. I love when students are able to explore, play, learn, have fun, and even challenge me inside of the classroom. Being able to ask the right questions as an educator often helps to arouse students' curiosity about something they're motivated to learn, and by extension, helps to prepare them to learn things that would otherwise be considered boring or tedious. They would definitely this would definitely make learning a more rewarding experience for them. However, since I'm already a substitute teacher, I have come to realize that I need to work on the disposition of dedication. I believe that need to be more proactive about my own learning in order to better assist my students, since the strategies and techniques, even the worksheets that I may use with one group, doesn't necessarily mean that it will work with another group or it would spark the interest of another group. Not only that, but I also need to be a more dependable or reliable face in the classroom so as to avoid any interruptions or disruptions to their learning. To achieve this, I need to work and improve my punctuality and attendance. Also, I need to be tolerant or be aware that I need to be always learning. And therefore, I believe that being a student in this master's program is one way that I'm actually upholding this disposition. Have not only sought an opportunity for professional development, but I've invested in my future and into my learning, so that the material that I'm teaching would be easy for me to maneuver, and I'd be in a better position to help my students excel in their own learning. Additionally, we know that they say honesty is the best policy. And I do believe that I need to be more truthful and open with my students. Students, they act what they see, and they often imitate teachers, especially when they look up to you as a role model. They try to be just like you. So it's only fair that I be honest with my students and let them know exactly when they may be correct or incorrect with their work, and that we come together to find applicable solutions to better improve their grades. Uh, when students see that we are sincere about helping them, they will listen. And when they know we've been open with them about what it takes to improve, they often connect. Even when we are truthful with them, they are truthful with us. If we lie to them, we know what the results are. And students do not like when teachers lie to them. They become hesitant and they're not motivated to do anything. So I believe that I really need to be honest with my students so that I can get the best of them and all of them. To answer the third question, I believe that a disposition of having respect for diversity is very, very, very important in the education sector today. Because we have new, for instance, I live in New York, and New York is considered a melting pot of cultures. We have Hispanics, we have Caribbeans. I'm from South America, and it's only fair that I respect all cultures, languages, genders, even learning differences, in order to not only build relationships with my students, but also with their families. Having this disposition would help teachers to not only understand and be tolerant of how students learn, but they'll be aware as to why students behave in a certain way, and they become cognizant of the student's home situation. Teachers, on the other hand, should not be biased. The biased thoughts should be kept outside of the classroom. Like I said before, students look up to teachers. They try to imitate, they try to be teachers. And if we are biased, we don't want that negative energy to be fed to the students and for them to become biased themselves and in turn have not working relationships with their peers. We should teach students problem solving skills and how to respect each other, how to demonstrate empathy, and so as to avoid any form of bullying in or outside of the classroom. Um, you know, we should not judge students based on their abilities or their languages, even their genders and the way they learn. We should not judge them at all. Even their home situation should not be judged. Because students want to feel welcome. They want to feel loved. They want to know that the people have their best interests at heart. And if we judge them, they would be kind of resentful and not want to learn. They would not be motivated to learn. So we have to be very, very aware of that. Now, all students should be treated equally so as to promote learning and engagement, which is really what we want. To answer the final question, which is based on feedback, I think the purpose of feedback in the assessment and learning process is basically to improve a student's performance. Feedback makes way for a more systematic change in the lesson plan, and teachers would be aware of their shortcomings and be able to identify ways in which we can address those shortcomings. As an educator, I would use feedback to restructure my way of teaching and their grading to be sure that my students are really learning and at what pace they're learning. Because it is very important that students are provided with that information and that they know exactly where or when they're correct or incorrect in their work. This will create more production. It will be more productive for them, and it could help to improve their self-confidence, their self-awareness, and their general interest for learning. As an educator, as educators, we want to capture the students' interests. We want to structure our lessons that cater for them and their specific needs. And if we fail to do so, and if we fail to provide feedback, we will not really be engaging with our peers and with our co-workers. So it should be a holistic approach in which we can incorporate the feedback and change things around so as to better meet the needs of our students. So that's all for it, folks, and I thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or feedbacks, please feel free to let me know, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you. Have a good night.